Alright, so we're going to put the tensioner, or the cam right there. The tensioner goes in right there. And the spring, we're going to tighten it up like that. And it'll go around like that. Now, they say that sometimes when you go to put the case on, you may need to back that off a little bit so that this will sit down in there, and then just before you put the case together, you clip that. So anyway, we'll get that in its space. One thing is, before we cleaned off all the edges around here and got it really clean, so that we'll be putting the gasket maker material on there, and that's going to take a little bit of time, but that's the next thing we got to do. Alright, we'll start with the liquid gasket. We'll just work our way around. Okay, so just get it all smoothed out. Make sure the bottom is where you have most of the material, so that it won't leak out the bottom. That's where all the oil is going to be most of the time, so just make sure you got it down in that area real well. And then we'll be lifting the half and put them together. So we'll get all the bolts in place, and we'll get ready to put it on. Okay, before we close this up, make sure you cut that zip tie that we put on the drum, the shift drum. If you were to close it up before you had that out, you would not be able to shift it. So I would go ahead and slide this down, try to get it all aligned. Once we get everything aligned, then we'll just get the bolts, get them all ready to tighten it down. Okay, so there was this side over here wasn't going down as easy, so we want to just take a rubber mallet and just lightly tap it, go all the way around, and once it's seated, then we'll get ready to put all the bolts in. Get all the bolts in, we're just going to I was going to mention, when you go to put that gear on, you might want to turn it over, make sure that your oil seal is intact. Sometimes that thing, because when you tweak that gear to get it in, it sometimes will lift that oil ring. You probably should replace that anyway, but if it's in good condition, just make sure that it's not lifted up on the gear. All right, so we put all the bolts in, and now we're going to torque. These are to 28 foot-pounds. You want to go in a crisscross fashion. We'll just kind of get them close, and then instead of have you sit here and watch go through all of them, that's what we're going to do. Is we're just going to go to a crisscross fashion all the way around. Okay, so looks like we're all in place, so double check them. I always like to wipe the caulking material from the edge. Okay, we're going to get the transmission oil. It's the Polaris AGL material. It's a synthetic that goes in the transmission. So we're taking the oil plug out. I just laid it on its side so it'll be easier to fill, and so we'll go ahead and put this fill that thing up, and then go ahead and put the plug back in it. Alright, so you got it full now. Go ahead and put the plug back in it. Get that tight. Okay, so now it's just get the transmission back into the vehicle and get the linkage hooked up. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, now we're just going to manhandle this transmission back into place. This may be a two-man job, but the key is to get it back into the chassis and get it all situated and tightened up, and then we'll show you how to hook up the linkage. But like I said, it may be a two-man job. It'd be the easiest way to do it. And when we get to that point, we'll show you how to hook up the linkage. Okay, so we've got the transmission in. Now we're going to put the shift linkage in. So first off, put this right here is the 16-tooth sector gear onto that the shift drum shaft. There's only one way it can go on, but have it so that there's a dot right here that is facing outwards. Okay. Now we're going to take the 11-tooth gear and we're going to install it. And there's two dots right here that we're going to align with the dots that are on the other tooth. Okay, so align those timing marks. Next, we're going to install the lockout disc. Okay, so you want to have this raised surface facing out. Okay, so there's only one way that it can go on there. Find where that is. Put it on. Like I said, that raised it has to be facing out. Now install the detent star onto the shift drum. That's same thing. It only goes on one way right there. So Okay, so once again, that detent star, you want to have the raised edge facing outwards. Now, the detent pawl is this unit, so slide that on the shaft, and now we're going to install the spring that pushes that detent pawl up, just like that. Okay, so now everything should be in order. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take white lithium grease, and we're going to spray the gears. This will help everything stay lubricated. The next is we're going to take and put some caulking around here, and once we get that on there, we're going to slide it on like this, and we'll put all the bolts around and we'll tighten that down. Okay, so to tighten these down in a crisscross fashion, we've already got that gasket material in there, and so this, you want to torque that, but we'll come back to that. Next thing is put this on there. This determines the position that transmission is in. Put the clip on it. Next is take your shift linkage and get it on there, and tighten this up, and that should be about it. The rest is just putting the axles back in, and everything should run just fine. So anyway, if you have any questions, email me, or put a comment on the video, and we'll see if we can help you out.